Good day, welcome back to my channel, and in today's topic it's all about the normal human microbiota. The normal microbial flora, or the normal microorganisms, or the good bacteria. So, population of microbes inhabiting the skin and mucous membranes of healthy normal persons. So, this is what we call a normal flora, or a normal microorganisms. Microbes living inside and on humans. So, these are microbes or microorganisms that are living inside and on humans. It provides the first line of defense against pathogens. So we have also microorganisms that are good, that can help us to prevent other infections. So they assist in digestion, especially microorganisms that is found in your intestines. They also plays a role in toxin degradation. And of course, they contribute to the maturation of the immune system. So what are the roles of the resident microbiota? So the roles are the following. Okay, the resident microbiota, they are fixed types of microbes that are regularly found in a given area at a given age. So they are residing specifically in a specific area when they are located. Okay, kung saan sila nagsistay. Okay? So that is what we call a resident microbiota. So the transient microbiota, these are non-pathogenic or potentially pathogenic microbes that inhabit the skin or mucous membranes. So if the resident microbiota is disturbed, transient microbes may colonize, proliferate, and produce diseases. Say for example, the normal flora of your skin has been transmitted to your mouth. So, since this area is not their proper way or is not their proper location, so there are instances that microbes may colonize and produces diseases. So that's what we call a transient microbiota. So what are the roles of the resident microbiota? So in a polymerase chain reaction, it amplifies bacterial 16S rDNA, detecting previously unidentified bacteria. Flourishing depends on temperature, moisture, and presence of nutrients and inhibitory substances. They are not essential to life, but they have a definite role in maintaining health and normal functions. Bacterial interferences involve competitions for receptors or binding sites on host cells, nutrient competitions, mutual inhibitions by metabolic toxic products, mutual inhibitions by antibiotic materials or bacteriocins, and they are also small numbers occurs on the bloodstream with minor trauma. Bacteroids are the most common resident bacteria of the large intestine and are quite harmless in that location. So when we call bacteroids, they are the most common resident bacteria of the large intestines, and they are quite harmless. Okay, so when we call bacteroids, they are a bacteria that is residing in your large intestine. If introduced into a peritoneal cavity or pelvic tissue as a result of trauma, they cause suppuration and bacteremia. So when you have a syringe that has been introduced peritoneally, that has been infected or that has been contaminated with bacteroids, so they can cause suppuration and bacteremia. So it is necessary to decontaminate or to disinfect every single materials that has been used during operations and other methods. So they produces diseases if introduced into a foreign location in large numbers and if predisposing factors are present. So in this table, you can see the different normal bacterial microbiota. So in your skin, as you can observe it here, so we can observe that there is a presence of Staphylococcus epidermidis, Staphylococcus aureus in small numbers, Micrococcus species, alpha hemolytic and non-hemolytic streptococci. Example of this is your Streptococcus mitis, Corynebacterium species, Propionibacterium species, Streptococcus species, Acinetobacter species, and small numbers of other organisms, just like your Candida species and Pseudomonas aeruginosa and many more. Okay, so these are the following normal bacterial microbiota. So there are normal flora in your skin, nasopharynx, gastrointestinal tract, and rectum, and of course to our genitalia. Okay, your bibate parts, of course. So these are the following as you can observe it here to our presentation, you can observe that there is a color indicator which presents, okay, ano yung mga present na organisms in each part of your body. So therefore, our body comprises of a lot of organisms. Hindi lang isa, but marami sila. Okay, so say for example, in our back, okay, our back. So as you can observe, there is a lot of Propionibacteriaceae. Okay, so color dark blue. Yan. Okay, so we have also the plantar heel. It's composed of Staphylococcaceae. So, yun, dami nila. Okay, so this is an indication that our body comprises of a lot of microorganisms. Okay, so let's talk about the normal microbiota of your skin. So, the normal microbiota of your skin comprises of aerobic and anaerobic diphtheroid bacilli. So, example of this are the following. We have the Corynebacterium as well as the Propionibacterium. So, there are also non-hemolytic aerobic or anaerobic staphylococci such as Staphylococcus epidermidis. This is the most common. And of course, we have also Staphylococcus aureus in a small amount and Peptros streptococcus. They have also a gram-positive aerobic spore-forming bacilli, meaning they need air. Okay, so aerobic spore-forming bacilli such as the alpha-hemolytic streptococci or the viridans streptococci, and of course the enterococci and acinetobacter. So those are the following normal microbiota of your skin. What are the factors in eliminating non-resident microbes from the skin? Includes the low pH, the fatty acids in sebaceous secretions, and of course the lysozymes. So profuse sweating, nor washing and bathing can eliminate or significantly modify the normal resident flora. So it is not advisable to wash or to bath every hour, right? So it is recommended to bath once a day, or it's not recommended to wash or to bath completely bath every hour, because normally your normal flora can be eliminated. So when there is no normal flora, wala na tayong magpo-protect sa ating katawan. Okay? We have also superficial microbes may be diminished by vigorous daily scrubbing with soap containing hexachlorophene or other disinfectants. Flora is rapidly replenished from sebaceous and sweat glands. Occlusive dressings results in a large increase in the total microbial populations. There are also synergistic infections. Example, the gangrene, necrotizing fasciitis, and cellulitis are caused by the joining of anaerobic and aerobic bacteria. The keratinocytes pattern recognition receptors, example, the 2-like receptors, the mannose receptors, and the NOD-like receptors, initiate innate responses, resulting in the secretions of antimicrobial peptides, cytokines, and chemokines. Always remember that the skin can distinguish between harmless commensals and harmful pathogenic microorganisms or microbes. So always remember that your skin can identify harmful and harmless microorganisms. Don't forget that. Okay, so let's talk about the normal microbiota of your mouth and the upper respiratory tract. So what are the organisms or the normal microorganisms that is found in your upper respiratory tract? So let's talk about the Corynebacteria, Streptococcus epidermidis, S. aureus, and Streptococci. Neonates harbors microbes that were undifferentiated across multiple body habitats, regardless of delivery mode, in less than 5 minutes post-delivery. So always remember that after delivery of a certain baby or a neonate, so they can automatically acquire certain microorganisms. As you can observe to our pictures, cesarean sections delivered babies harbor microbes similar to the skin of a mother. Example is your Staphylococcus, the Corynebacterium, and the Propionibacterium. And the vaginally delivered infants harbor similar communities. Examples, your Lactobacillus, Prevotella, Atopobium, and Snetia. So, whenever your baby has been delivered, kahit ano ba yan, either cesarean sections or normal delivery, once they are exposed to a certain microorganisms, they can automatically adopt it. Okay? So, let's talk about the normal microbiota of the mouth and upper respiratory tract of your nose. Okay? So, the viridans streptococci becomes established as the most prominent resident flora within 4 to 12 hours after birth. Always remember that the viridans streptococci becomes the most prominent resident flora within 4 to 12 hours after birth. When teeth begins to erupt, anaerobic spirochetes, example Prevotella, Fusobacterium, Rothia, Capnocytophagia species, establish themselves along with some anaerobic Vibrios and Lactobacilli. Your actinomyces are normally present in tonsillar tissues and adult gingiva. Yeast, also example is your Candida species, occurs in the mouth. To your upper respiratory tract, as you can observe it here, to your upper respiratory tract, so there are also the presence of non-hemolytic and hemolytic streptococci, just like your Neisseria, Staphylococci, diphtheroids, Haemophili, Pneumococci, Mycoplasma, and Prevotella. Infections are usually caused by mixed oronasal flora. So there are instances that the normal flora may be harmful to us by the mixed oronasal flora. Okay? So periodontal infections or peroral abscess, sinusitis, and mastoiditis involves P. melanogeneca and Fusobacteria and Peptrostreptococci. Aspiration of saliva may result in necrotizing pneumonia, lung abscess, and emphysema. The role of normal mouth microbiota in dental plaques and caries. So dental plaques, or the complex prevalent and densest biofilms, is an inherent dental deposit on the tooth composed of bacteria from the normal flora of the mouth. As you can observe it here to our pictures, there is a lot of a dental plaque. So they are protected from environmental hazards and optimizes arrangements, maximizing energy via nutrient movements. So they also interact at multiple metabolic and molecular levels. So biofilms forms with the dental pellicles. So these are thin organic films covering the mineralized tooth composed of salivary proteins and glycoproteins. So as you can observe, there is a plaque formation takes place in stages and layers at 2 levels. So anatomical location of the plaques at the gingival line. Earliest plaques at supragingival line. So this is the supragingival. Yan. Okay? So this is a mostly plaque form here. So layering within the plaque. So Streptococcus sanguis is the prototype early colonizers, including Lactobacilli and actinomyces. Gram-negative anaerobes and anaerobic spirochetes, including more actinomyces, are late colonizers within 2 to 4 days. So always remember that. high molecular weight extracellular glucan polymers or synthesized, acting like cement, binding the plaque biofilm together. So as you can observe, caries is a disintegration of the teeth beginning at the surface and progressive inwards. So the animal is demineralized due to the effect of acid products of glycolytic metabolic activity when the plaque bacteria are fed the right substrate. Dentine and cementum is decomposed and involves bacterial digestion of the protein matrix. Your S mutans is the dominant organisms producing organic acidic products, decreasing pH to react with enamel, hydroxyapatite, and demineralizing to calcium and phosphate ions rather. So, dietary monosaccharides and disaccharides provides an appropriate substrate for bacterial glycolysis and acid productions causing tooth demineralization. Foods with high sugar content, example your sucrose, that adhere to teeth have long oral clearance times. Control of caries involves the physical removal of plaque. So, paano ba natin maiiwasan ang ating dental plaques or dental caries? So, it involves physical removal of plaques, limitation of sucrose intakes, good nutrition with adequate protein intakes, reductions of acid productions in the mouth by limiting carbohydrates, frequent cleansing. So, always brush your teeth 2 times or 3 times a day. Application of fluoride to teeth enhances acid resistance. Okay? So, at birth, okay, so let's move on to the normal microbiota of your intestinal tract or sa ating intestines. Since we talk about the normal microbiota of your mouth, then now we will talk about the normal microbiota of your intestinal tract. At birth, the intestine is sterile, but organisms are soon introduced with food. Bifidobacteria is the intestinal microbiota of your breastfed children. Always remember that the Bifidobacteria is the intestinal microbiota or the normal flora of your breastfed children. But the bottled children have mixed flora and Lactobacillare are less prominent. So, as you can observe it here, no, Yakult ka ba dyan? Yan. So, as the Yakult logo here says that a healthy intestines leads to a long life and Yakult is good for our intestines because your Yakult contains a good bacteria. Yakult's unique good bacteria suppresses the harmful bacteria present in your intestines. Okay, so the presence of the strains of your Yakult is Lactobacillus casei strain or Shirota strain. So, this is your Yakult contains a good bacteria which contains your Lactobacillus casei strain or Shirota strains. Yan. Okay, so it improves or it helps your intestines for a good digestion. Kaya, Yakult ka ba dyan? Yan. Okay, so the normal microbiota of intestinal tract. So, newborn bowels are colonized by Enterobacteriaceae. Esophagus contains microbes arriving with saliva in food. So, as you can observe. So, stomach acidity minimizes microbes. Okay? Unless obstructions of the pylorus favors proliferations of gram-positive cocci and bacilli. When there is an increased acidity of your stomach, it minimizes microbes. Helicobacter pylori persists in this environment. Acidity protects the stomach against enteric pathogens. So that's the good news. Our stomach contains hydrochloric acid, but this has a good function, okay? Because it protects the stomach against enteric pathogens. Antacids, or your H2 receptor antagonists and PPIs, leads to a great increase in microbial flora. Okay, because your stomach will minimizes its acidity when you take antacids. So, kumbaga, mawawala yung acidity ng ating stomach. And always remember that acidity will maintain the the environment of your intestines to prevent from enteric microorganisms. So, it is necessary to maintain the acidity of your stomach. Kaya hindi tayo pwedeng uminom ng antacids palagi dahil mawawala din yung mga normal flora. Okay, so intestinal contents are alkaline, increasing the resident flora. So your duodenum, okay, so it consists of 10 to the power of 3 to 10 to the power of 4 bacteria per ml. Ang dami, no? So your jejunum and your ileum consist of a lot of microorganisms. Okay? So always remember that your colon has 96 to 99% resident anaerobes. It includes the bacteroidetes, firmicutes, actinobacteria, microbiota, fusobacteria, and proteobacteria. Okay? So, important functions. What are the important functions of intestinal microbiota? So, the following are the important functions of your intestinal microbiota. It displacing and inhibiting potential pathogens by competing for nutrients in receptors or productions of antimicrobial factors. Example, your bacteriocins and lactic acids. Inductions of IgA secretions, influencing the development of humoral immune systems, modulating local T cells response and cytokines profiles, contribute to amino acid requirements, production of short chain F, fatty acids, controlling intestinal epithelial cells differentiation, synthesize vitamin K, biotin, and folates, enhances ion absorption. Those are the following functions of your normal microbiota of your intestines. Antimicrobial drugs taken orally can temporarily suppress the drug-susceptible components of fecal flora. Your neomycin plus erythromycin aerobes for 1 to 2 days. Your metronidazole is for your anaerobic microorganisms. Feeding Lactobacillus acidophilus temporarily established it in the gut and partially suppresses other guts microflora. B. fragilis, Clostridia, and Peptostreptococci plays a main role in the abscess formation. Always remember that your Bacillus fragilis, Clostridia, and Peptostreptococci plays a main roles in the abscess formations. Prevotella bivia and Prevotella disciens are important in the absence of the pelvis originating in the female genital organs. There are also a normal microbiota of your urethra. Same types found in the skins and perineums regularly appearing in normal voided urine. Aerobic lactobacilli appears after birth and persists as long as the pH remains acidic or several weeks. Okay? So, mixed flora of cocci and bacilli is present after pH has become neutral. At puberty, aerobic and anaerobic lactobacilli reappears and contributes to the maintenance of acid pH via productions of acid from carbohydrates or glycogen. It also prevents establishment of other microbes. So these are the residing microbiota of your urethra. Okay, this is an example of a film or sample of a normal microbiota of our urethra. You can see there's a lot of lactobacilli. Next, the normal microbiota of the vagina. Bacterial vaginosis is a syndrome marked by dramatic shifts in the types of and relative proportions of the vaginal microbiota as the vaginal ecosystem changes from a healthy to a diseased state. During the birth process, a baby can acquire group B streptococci causing neonatal sepsis, and meningitis. Okay, so let's move on to the normal microbiota of a conjunctiva. Diphtheroids, S. epidermidis, and non-hemolytic streptococci, those are the presence of a normal microbiota to our conjunctiva. Neisseria and gram-negative bacilli resembling hemophili, normally held in check by the flow of tears containing lysozymes. Okay, so those are the normal microbiota of our body. Okay, see you to my next presentation. Bye-bye.